Doki Doki Literature Club, the overly cutesy-looking visual novel game that took the world by storm once its true nature came to light. And My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, the overly cutesy-looking cartoon that took the world by storm once its true nature came to light. What do these two IPs have in common? More than you'd think, and it all boils down to this equaling this. Let's chat. Hello everyone, my name's Ayla Bell, and with DDLC Plus coming out recently, which I admittedly haven't seen yet, I will get around to it, I promise, I started thinking about events that happened in the original game, which I did see multiple times, so I do actually know what I'm talking about. I was thinking of how Natsuki is my favorite of the girls because she's the least problematic of all of them. Yes, she's a tsundere with some problems at home and is kind of lonely, but compared to the others, she's really tame. I couldn't help but also realize how, while she is an invaluable part of the character interactions in the game, she doesn't get a major part to play. Her events are all skippable, which implies that her contribution to the story isn't as important. You don't have to choose her at any point, and you can completely skip character building. This is different from Sayori and Yuri, who both have major scenes in the game that progress the plot and can't be skipped. At the end of the day, Natsuki gets the short end of the stick because she doesn't have a section of the game dedicated just to her. Why is that? And in wondering why that was, my thoughts sort of spiraled until I realized something kind of kooky. All of the shenanigans that go on in DDLC remind me of a storyline from MLP. Spoilers incoming, by the way, for those who haven't seen or played all of the first/original DDLC game. Spoilers also for MLP 2 while I'm at it. And speaking of MLP, you guys know about Discord, right? If not, he's a Draconequus who is the immortal and all-powerful spirit of chaos. Discord has the power to make reality into anything he wants. If he's dissatisfied with how things are going in the world, he has the ability to change it, and there's not much anyone can do about it. Except for the main characters and their main character powers, of course. So, what about Discord? You may be asking yourselves. Well, what I'm saying is that if Monika is Discord, then Natsuki is the Fluttershy from The Return of Harmony. To an extent. Speaking of which, in order to make the comparisons more obvious, I will only refer to the MLP episodes of the two-part Season 2 premiere called The Return of Harmony, as well as the Season 3 episode Keep Calm and Flutter On. Both Monika and Discord have the power to warp the reality of their world. Do they initially use this power for good? Heck no! Monika wants the player all to herself, and Discord just wants the world to be as chaotic as possible. What's standing in their way exactly? Well, Monika has to deal with 3 rivals vying for the attention of the player, and Discord has the main 6 to deal with, who are the protectors of Equestria. Keep in mind that both Monika and Discord have the power to just wipe out these individuals without much effort, but choose to be way sneakier about it. Their reasoning for why they didn't just snap their fingers and make them go away is admittedly different, though. Monika didn't initially want violence, but was pushed to it when it appeared like the player wouldn't be deterred from the other girls despite her meddling. Plus, my memory's kind of failing me here, but I'm not sure if Monika at first knew exactly how the code worked to be able to meddle that far, but the potential was still there. So the point is that she still had the power, even though she might not have fully realized it. And Discord was just bored and wanted to mess with the ponies. Plus, his ego made him think he'd always win regardless. The main point here being that Monika and Discord warped reality to make the end result what they wanted. That's point number 1. Point number 2, well, I guess point 2 was that they both had individuals who were standing in the way of their goal. On to point number 3 then, the meddling. In order to make the events in their respective worlds go their way, they cheated by personally messing with the other characters. Both Monika and Discord live in worlds defined by rules and set facts. Monika, being a video game character, knew that her friends' personalities and schedules and all that were determined by codes, and Discord knew that the main 6 were defined by their personalities and elements of harmony. Without interference, reality wouldn't be how they wanted things to be. So, what do these reality benders do? They mess with the character traits of the main characters. Monica went into the game's files to mess with the other girls' personalities. She turned all of their negative aspects up to 15 out of 10 in order to make them less appealing to the player. Turning up these negative aspects led to the self-inflicted deaths of two of the members, Sayori and Yuri respectively. To do so, she amplified Sayori's depression and Yuri's obsessiveness. Mix in a few nudges by good old club president Monica and boom! Two love rivals out of the way. But what about Natsuki? Monica made her look more pathetic, I guess? But even then, not really? Let's put a pin in that. And Discord turned honest Applejack into a liar by showing her a future she couldn't accept. He turned loyal Rainbow Dash into someone self-serving and uninterested in helping by convincing her to abandon her friends. He turned generous Rarity into a selfish hoarder by tempting her with a giant beautiful diamond. He turned happy Pinkie Pie into a downer by convincing her that everyone was laughing at her. And by messing with her friends, he made Twilight lose faith in friendship. As for Fluttershy, well, here's point number 4. Both Monica and Discord ran into a bit of a snag. Natsuki didn't have any personality traits that could be amplified or exploited that would cause her to be unappealing to the player, nor could Monica amplify a character trait that would make Natsuki destroy herself. Similarly, Discord tried to convince Fluttershy of how pathetic she was and that her friends saw her as weak. However, Fluttershy never once gave in to those intrusive thoughts and happily agreed with Discord about her flaws. No matter what Discord said, Fluttershy stayed kind and cheerful. So, what are these reality benders to do about these characters who can't be changed the typical way? Well, Monica and Discord were already cheaters, so why not cheat even harder? Monica went directly into the game's files and deleted Natsuki since she couldn't offer in any other way. No fanfare, no big event, no special cutscene, just press delete. This is why Natsuki doesn't get her own dedicated, unskippable storyline, because Monica couldn't trigger one. As for Discord, he directly used his magic to turn Fluttershy into a cruel pony instead of tempting her to mess up like her friends did. When you think about it, Natsuki and Fluttershy had such strong characters that the reality benders had a difficult time dealing with them. Hence, part of why the two of them are of the best characters in their respective stories. Starlight Glimmer still best pony though. On to point number 5. At some point, both Monica and Discord had everything they wanted. Discord could cause as much chaos as he wanted, and Monica had the player all to herself. And for the record, I am now referring to Keep Calm and Flutter On for Discord's character arc. An important thing to note is that at this point of the episode, Fluttershy was attempting to befriend Discord. None of the other ponies wanted to even attempt that, but Fluttershy was convinced it would work. Discord had come to enjoy Fluttershy's kindness and company and wanted her to join him in his chaos. But when Fluttershy saw that Discord used their friendship as a means to get what he wanted, she rejected him and said they weren't friends. Upon realizing that he had lost his one and only friend, Discord initially pretends to not care and even shows hints of anger. But he soon realized that friendship was more valuable to him than getting what he wanted, and he used his power to put everything back to normal. Likewise, Monica had what she wanted. No more rivals, only the player to give her attention and be with forever. But by this point of the story, the player knew how far Monica had gone to be with the player and how she was willing to sacrifice her friends in order to be with the player. So, despite any sympathy the player might have had towards her, the player ends up deleting her from the game. Seeing this blatant rejection, Monica, like Discord, is angry and initially says that she hates the player. But it is through this rejection that Monica realizes the error in her actions and how she's done horrible things to her friends. She realizes she doesn't want a reality if everyone, especially her love, is miserable and forced into things they never agreed to. So, using her power, she returns everything back to normal. The biggest difference between DDLC and MLP is that in DDLC, Monica took herself out of the equation once she realized she messed up, and then she just deleted the whole game because the game is cursed or whatever. Whereas in MLP, Discord goes on to become an ally of the good guys. He makes questionable decisions, but he's an ally nonetheless. Again, keep in mind that I haven't seen the full DDLC Plus game yet, so I don't 100% know if they changed the original ending of DDLC and if there is a good ending now or not. I know next to nothing, except for some screenshots that may or may not be real. I don't know. This comparative analysis was just between the original Doki Doki Literature Club and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Having said all that, was I able to convince you of the similarities? What was your favorite point that I made? Did you notice anything that I haven't? Comment below and let's get this conversation started. Please also refrain from putting spoilers of DDLC Plus in the comments since I haven't seen it yet. Thank you! As for now, thank you so much for chatting with me. That's all there is. There isn't any more.